You know what they say about keeping the fire burning in your home.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting that nice fire happening.
Yeah, yeah.
We have had, don't even go there, dog. We have had several people ask you about Bob Dylan. And if you've had any experiences with him, can you relay the story that you have?
When Delaney and Bonnie and I went out, we were doing this radio tour. We wound up going to New York City with Alan Parieser.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Alan knew everybody, you know. He was friends with Albert Grossman, who's Bob Dylan's manager. And Alan wanted everybody to meet Delaney and Bonnie and me. And so it was a party up in the Gorham Hotel on the 13th floor. And Bob Dylan was supposed to be there, you know. So we're all going to meet Bob, and there's a bunch of people there. Well, sure enough, he was sitting in a chair, a straight back chair, and never got up. Bob Dylan was sitting there and went in, how do you do, shook his hand and stuff. Somebody was passing around what we thought was marijuana. And Delaney and Bonnie and I each had some of this, and it turned out to be angel dust or some kind of crazy ass PCP or something. And nutty stuff. And we freaked out, you know, I had to leave. I was like, wasn't expecting it. And we went into that that whole part of the getting high scene.
Or New York City part.
In New York City, you know, and got slipped something on us. Well, so we left and went back to the hotel. And it turned out some girl freaked out in that room and dove out the damn window of the 13th floor right after we left. Sure enough. Now that's when I met Bob Dylan.
Do you remember who else may have been at that party?
No, it's just a bunch of, you know, looked like maybe it was Andy Warhol's.
I was going to ask.
You know, a bunch of kind of, I always get the word wrong, you know, so I know it's not bon vivant, all right? But
that means the good life.
Well, these are people who are having a real good life, all right?
They were bon vivant.
Having too much fun, you know, but there was always like a little clique of different folks that when we went out to meet folks, it was, you know, everybody had their own little gang they was running around with, you know, rich folks, normal folks.
How did you hear about the girl that jumped out the window?
Alan told us about it like the next day, you know.
Oh, wow.
It was on the news and everything, but yeah, pretty crazy.
Well, Delaney was real good at slipping stuff on people.
Well, he did that. He did. He slipped LSD on Jerry Wexler. Sure did. And, well, you know, it didn't work out for him, you know, Delaney or Jerry Wexler. But Jerry Wexler probably needed a little
That
something.
continued on when we were together, and we went to a friend's house, and I was terrified to even try the coffee because you never knew what this guy... He was big on slipping stuff on people.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I don't think that shit's funny. You know, practical jokes and all that. I don't like anybody pulling pranks on me or, you know, making me look a fool or anything like that.
That would be the end of that relationship.
Huh?
That would be the end of that relationship.
You know, hell yeah. You know, I don't like surprises.
So aside from that time, have you ever had anything slipped on you? I know you have.
No, nothing.
Yeah, Bobby Keys.
Bobby Keys, he didn't slip anything on me. I knew what it was.
Oh, I thought he slipped something on
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, up in John Garfield's house.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he slipped LSD on me the first time I ever had it. I'd been up all night doing something, and I lived in the lower part of the house, and he had the guest house on top of the hill. And John Garfield Jr.'s Hollywood house up on, I think it was a Libby Way. And it was a beautiful Spanish place. But I thought he gave me a little, here, B-Dub, this will help you sleep, you know. And I went, okay, you know. And hell, I forget how old was I, you know, 19 or 20 or something. And I took it, and it was Osley's acid and mescaline mixed together. God damn.
What is Osley's acid?
LSD, made by that guy.
Oh,
whatever
yeah,
his name was,
yeah.
Henry Osley or something. I don't know what his
This was
first
his
name
personal stash.
I don't know. Bobby Keys knew all these people that were, you know, in the front and running and all that
loved
nonsense.
all that. He loved
I had
all
to take it again to see if it was me or if it was the LSD.
Well, what happened?
It was a bad scene
What
altogether.
What happened?
Oh, everything started moving. The whole Hollywood Hills started breathing. I said, what the fuck is going on here, man? Anyway, I wrote it on out. And, yeah, crazy stuff when we were
How
young.
long did it take you to ride that out?
A couple of lifetimes. You know? Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if I'm over, you know. The memories are so vivid, you know, but crazy. We all did that, I guess, when we were younger, except for you.
Well, yeah, except for me. No, there are people that didn't. But I was going to ask you that somebody else did actually mention the fact, and they're going to love this, but they wanted to know if the heroin had affected your playing at all, and Eric's. Hey, look, I don't know. I'm just this is a question.
Before, during, or after?
All of it. Someone asked the question. I'm asking it. It's not mine.
You know, I don't know. I don't think we.
And how did it affect you, if it did?
Well, it didn't make you any more creative, that's for sure.
I mean, Dwayne did it with you guys too, right?
Yeah, we all were doing stupid shit like that. But looking back on it in retrospect, it hindered everything. All of that, all the drugs and alcohol that we did really got in the way of the creative process. And no telling what it would have been had we all been collected and had our faculties working and straight, you know, when we were recording. But we weren't. And I didn't never go on about it, but there wasn't no small amounts of anything around there, man. There was a lot of shit going on in that studio. But
So
it's a wonder the record, we've talked about this before, it's a wonder that record was even done, because it goes to show that there is something at play, something at work in this universe that is leading us and guiding and directing and doing things for us, you know, because realistically, that shouldn't have been a greater record as it turned out to be. You know?
So do you think that it was leading you somewhere?
What was leading me?
That greater thing, that inner...
Yeah, absolutely.
Where do you
think? Even though we might not have been aware of it at the time, you know, we thought it was us, you know, and it wasn't us, because we weren't capable of doing that without some divine intervention. And I know that happened during that session, because it was like this a holy veil that encompassed and surrounded that we were in a vacuum, you know, this wonderful, soft, beautiful vacuum, you know, of creativity. And that's what all that is, you know. And so when all of that was at work, you know, you got like, you know, 5 guys in there that were all dialed in, you know, and didn't realize what we were dialed in to, you know. Well, we were actually, you know, that close to perfection, you know, that close to God, you know. We were part and parcel all of that, you know, at the time, because as humans, normal everyday guys walking in to record and do what we did, that wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened. We're all in the right place in our makeup and our thoughts. Maybe they look at drawing on Elmore James or drawing on somebody else. That wasn't it at all. That wasn't it at all. It was that holy veil, that Holy Spirit at work. That's what made that record, and everything happened. I went out and wrote all of the lyrics to Keep On Growing. Melody and everything, just like that. Boom, boom, boom. Came out so fast I couldn't even write it down. That's that kind of thing. We were so dialed in that those miracles were happening.
Do you think that it was happening for you as a conduit, or do you think everybody? It was just everybody?
I think everybody was affected, unbeknownst to everyone. They thought they were in their little world. Jim Gordon in his little world back there in that carousel playing. No. There was like this whole thing. The engineers, Tom, everybody. It was like this holy veil over that whole session that was running, that was at the helm, that was running the whole thing. And we were all the instruments, playing instruments and using our voices as instruments to make this thing come into fruition and fulfillment.
But you all seem totally unaware.
Totally unaware of it.
And why you and not someone else?
I think it had to be the right combination with the right mindset, heart set. We weren't trying to make a great record. We weren't trying to make money, or we were not trying to do anything except be that place where this thing flowed. And it just happened. And Eric and Dwayne Allman just clicked. There were moments in there that was astounding. There were moments when it wasn't so, but boy, the ones that were so surely made up for a little hop, skip over the bridge things,
So it really had to do with everyone's motive. Everyone's motive was
pure.
Yeah.
When it came to that, everyone's motive was pure, including Ronnie and Howie, Albert, Albert Gluten, Tom Dowd. Everybody was in there for all the same reason. We're all motivated internally for the same reason. It's like nobody else could hang. The rest of the brothers were invited to come and play with us, but they could only last for a few minutes, and then they had to go away. But it's just like this. And because see, Jim and Carl and I had been playing already together, so we were already dialed into each other, and you get those three players together, they can bring out the best in someone else. We did the same. We brought out the best in Delaney, and anybody that was playing. It was that section that really moved it with the core, and made it work. Same thing happened with Eric Clapton. We brought out the best in him. You couldn't be anything but the very best of who you are, Dwayne Allman, who you are. With those three guys.
Oh, powerful.
Like that, holding you right there in the palm of their hands. Oh, wow. And me, I was one of those guys, Right. But it's been so long I can look at it real objectively and with absolute clarity, But for all intents and purposes, that shouldn't have been as great a record as it turned out to be.
But thank God it was.
Yeah.
And it took each and every
a
one
life
of
game changer. Not just for my life, but everyone's life is touched by it somehow or other. If it's not one song, it's another. Thorn Tree in the Garden. I don't know how many times people write to me and tell me about how they're moved, and especially after they found out what the root of that was about, about my little dog being lost and not returned.
And how many children have been named Layla or Derek?
Yeah, absolutely, And I'm sure
Derek, Eric, Layla, we've met so many of them.
Yeah, I'm sure that bell bottoms and hip huggers shot way up in that Sears and Roebuck.
Well, there was another article that I read along with all these other ones, was that Eric was deliberately withholding playing too much. Did you get a sense of that?
No, he wasn't withholding nothing. He was always full tilt on everything, even when it was full tilt taste.
I don't know why they'd say that.
You know, simplicity. I don't know. Somebody was trying to sound like they knew what they were talking about.
Yeah.
They didn't know what they were talking about, but everybody was full tilt, 100%, even on the simplest licks. You know, on the simplest, intro to "I Am Yours" on an acoustic guitar. You know,
Oh man, so beautiful.
I mean, the simplicity to perfection, and that's where we were, anything somebody else might withholding, no, hell no, you can't withhold something like, I'm only going to give them
Crazy,
so much.
wouldn't it? Yeah, it sounds so stupid.
Stupid shit. No, man.
Oh, those critics.
It's all even the pauses, even the parenthetical moments of silence are supposed to be there. They are. All of that's important. It gives it's an expression. It gives it the life.
I certainly don't think that Carl or Jim or anyone could express it the way that you do.
Well, I don't know. See, because all I know is what I know.
Well, the thing is I don't think anybody has the passion that you have towards the music and the sound and all these things. No one could express this. I think you're the perfect person to express anything about Layla, really, the record.
Well, thank you. I think you're probably right.
It's true because you feel like you're there. Talk about
everyone had a role. Mine was kind of a blanket role, and
better than a jelly roll.
Well, I was thinking about it goes behind the saddle, rather than the saddle roll, But mine was the blanket was open and it kind of covered the whole thing because I was writing songs, producing. We were really the producers of the record, singing the song and playing the song. Puts a pretty big role in it,
But you put so much color into the whole. You make a black and white picture color. You bring it to life.
Yeah, I understand.
There's no one else to do that.
Well, it has to do with expression. Not everybody plays an organ or piano the way I do, or
just your description of
sings
everything.
Or
very colorful.
Whatever. I have my own way of delivering something.